Okay. Uh, so in the last session, we have discussed about loops and condition, right? So I believe there isn't any doubt for this one. So next topic is about arrays. So simply, do you know what is an array in simple terms or in technical terms? Yes or no?
Yes, to store multiple values.
Okay, to store multiple values. Anybody else? Okay. So simply, an array is a collection of a similar types of data. This is the definition. Huh? This is just a definition. An array is a collection of similar types of data. So to elaborate this, I would say that let's consider a simple packet, like a packet of a bread, right? In that you will find that in normal packet there is a box, and in that all the items you find is just a bread, right? So all the items are of the same type. This is one of the food item, and it's of the same type, bread, right? So एक box है, box के अंदर सारे bread ही है. So that box becomes the array, right? Box is a collection of a bread. So here bread is the similar types of data, and box is just the collection. Box is just the array. So simply, an array is a collection of a similar types of data. Get it? Hello,
Yes.
right, everyone? So in Java, all arrays are dynamically allocated. We'll discuss it as we proceed ahead. Uh, okay. Uh, so about the declaration part, how we can declare an array in a Java, right? So there are two ways to declare an array. First, you have to give the data type. We know what are the primitive data types, right? Integer, byte, short, long, string, any type, correct? So first you define the data type, then give the variable name, let's say array a, and just write down the bracket. Okay, or this is another way, array b. These are the two ways to declare an array. Here we have just declare an array. We haven't like say we haven't given any size of it. It isn't okay. So in the array, here we have just declared the array. One more thing about the array is that whenever you declare the array, or whenever you are using an array, it means that it will store some data of a same type into specific location, right? And that is true, and that is also true about the variables as well. But here the difference is that in the variable we store only one value, while in array we store the multiple values of the same data type, right? In Java, all arrays are dynamically allocated. The variables in the array which we are storing are always ordered, like as I have said, in a box of a bread, right? So we pick it from the first one, we pick the top one, right? So it is the order, that's the order defined. We'll pick the top one first, then next, and then likewise that. So same applies into the array. whichever is the whichever is the first, that will be picked first. It is not like randomly we pick any value or any item from the middle one, right? We don't do that in the bread box as well, correct? Hello.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Now here is the thing. uh Here we have just declared an array. We haven't defined the size of this array, right? When we say when we discussed about the definition, we say that it is the collection of similar data types, right? And when we say collection of similar data type, it means that it should have specific some it should have some size limit, like in the bread box there is some size limit, right? Like maximum 20 can be stored in one box, for example. So here we should here we need to define the size as well, like array of what size? Array of same array of same data type, true, but of what size? You cannot give like it should not be like infinite, right? Correct. अगर हम इतना ही देते जाएंगे तो it will cause the memory issue, correct? And we do have the limited memory allocation, right? Each laptop or platform have the have the memory limitation, right? So an array size must be defined when you initialize it. When you initialize it, at the time of declaration it's not necessary. So here at line number 7 and line number 8, we have just declared the array. An array declaration has two components. First is the type, here it is the integer, and next is the name, right? Now here the type determines the data type of each element which will be stored into the declared array. So as line number 7, here we have written integer array A. So whatever the value we will store into this array will be of type integer. Okay, everyone getting it, or am I the only one who's just speaking it? Hello,
Yes, Devesh.
getting it or not?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Okay, so and at the line number 8 we have given string. So in array B and array B, all the values which will be stored of type string, correct? Or let's declare just the primitive one, character. Okay, now see I have said that these are just the declaration part. It's not we haven't initialized the or we haven't allocated any value in this array.
So if we want to initialize any value inside the array, how it going to work?
That is what we are coming on. That is what we are coming on. Okay, so to initialize or instantiate an array, first you need to give the size. You need to give the size. You can see we have written array A, right? And simply write down new, and it is of a type integer. So let's say we want to create an array with size of 5 elements, right? Then this is how you can declare.
We cannot directly declare
sorry.
with integer array A in bracket 5.
Yeah, let me Udit, let's not get fast. Let's go step by step, right? We can declare that. Okay. But it would be good if you have the very tiny detail about this part. So this is just the declaration, So what happens is that when you just declare this, it tells the compiler that this variable will hold an array. This variable array A will hold a variable of sorry, let me refresh. It tells the compiler that it will hold an array of the integer type. To link this with an actual or physical array of integer, I mean defining the or calculating the size of an actual array, you must have to, or we must have to allocate the size using the new keyword, which we have done it over here, right? So this is the initialization and this is the declaration. Initialization and declaration both can be done in the single line, right? Here we will initialize character as well, and let's say float array C. We can do like this as well. So this line is the combination of declaration and initialization. This two line is just the combination. These two lines are of just the declaration part. Okay, clear. So this is this applies with the our variables as well, the regular variables as well. I thought that I haven't covered that, so this I have covered it via array. Okay. Hello.
Yes.
So here I'll just let me declaring an array, and here we are compiler is allocating memory to array. How it will define, how it will allocate the memory? Compiler knows that there are five items of type integer that has to be stored, and for each integer we do have the size defined, like it's a 16-bit, right? 16-bit or 32-bit, as we have discussed in the variable section. So accordingly that memory allocation will be done, right? So let's not go into much detail about that one, right? We don't need any detail about this. We just need to work with the arrays. Now we have done the declaration, we have done the allocation. What about adding a value into this one? How we can do it? It's on your screen. I hope you can see my screen, everyone.
Yes.
Yes. So can anyone tell how we can assign the values to the array elements?
Like you have assigned to name 0 Tony Stark, name 1, that kind of thing.
Yes, this is how you assign a value to the array elements or the array positions, right? Sorry, array positions or the indexes. The elements in the array are allocated by new, will automatically be initialized to the 0 to the
5.
5 or 4. When the index starts from 0. So if you have given the size to 5, then it will be a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Total 5. Correct?
And if we start from 1, it will be 5.
But it will not start from 1. It's defined that index always starts with 0.
Okay.
Okay, index always starts with 0, right?
Okay.
Okay. Now, here one more important thing about this is that when we have just initialized it, at that time by default, since we haven't assigned any values into this array indexes, by default it will be 0 for all the numerical one, like integer, array, double, float, long, right? For the boolean one, it will be either true or false. And for the reference type, it means that a class type. So string is a class, so it will have the null value, right? So this just for FYI, for your information. Yeah, this just for your information, nothing more into that one. So now assigning a value to it, assigning a value to each item, you can do this way from line number 19 to 24. You can do this way, right? Or you can directly declare an array like this. What is the meaning of this line number 15? Here, the meaning of this line is that
It
okay,
will contain values of 1, 2, 34, and 5, integer b.
okay, that is true. It will, sorry, this is an array of a data type integer of size 4. Okay, it does contains only four elements, right? And of data type of type integer. It has a name b. Okay, so these are the way of initializing, sorry, assigning a value to the array. Next thing, accessing the elements of the specified array. Elements of the specified array. To access the elements of a particular array, we can use for loop, which we have discussed in the last session. I hope everyone remember the loops, for loops, right? Okay, to make sure that the for loop, in the for loop we do have to check for the condition, right? Correct. As you can see, at I is less than names dot length. So length is one of the function provided by array. Using that, we will get the array size. So here you know it has a size of 6 elements, right? So instead of statically typing, we can use the function names dot length. So here you have to give the array name dot call the function length, right? It will give you it will return you the size of your array, and then increment. And to access the element, what you can do, array, then in the bracket give the index of that element. Since we are iterating, since we are iterating the array, we have given the variable I, or else if you are in simple terms, you can check at the line number 34. I have given the array name and just pass the index. Here names of 4. So what it will be? What will come? Incredible Hulk. Names of 4, right? So when I say names of 4, it means the fifth element. Sorry, fifth element of that an array. Correct? Why? Because this 4 is the index of an array, and index always starts with 0. Array index always starts with 0. Clear, everyone?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Mm. Now, so there are two types of array: one dimensional, dimensional array and multi-dimensional array, right? Single dimensional array is that is what we have covered here, right? And multi-dimensional arrays are arrays of array, array का भी array, ठीक है? With each element of array holding the reference of other array. जो बोला समझ में आया? Multi-dimensional arrays are arrays of arrays, array का भी array, with each element of an array is holding the reference of other arrays. मतलब if for example in simple word I'll say that 20 is equal to, I can write like 1 2 1 2 3 comma 4 5 6. Sorry. Okay, so this 1 2 this 1 2 3 is one array, 4 5 6 is one array, and both of them are stored in superior array. Okay, hello.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so and to access the same one you need to iterate 2 for loops. Single dimensional array के लिए single for loop, two dimensional array 2 for loops. The first for loop would be for the superior one, second for loop would be for its internal arrays. अगर इसका भी third होता तो what if it is of the 3 dimensional, then let's say then we need to have, and what we'll do, we'll add one more for loop for integer k is equal to 0, then k less than 3 dot length k plus plus, and then we'll iterate. Okay, so first one is for this. Okay, sorry, here it will have 3 dot length. इसके भी साइज 3 है, 3 3 3. So here it will be, since we have started from 0, it will be 3. If we have started from 1, it will be less than or equal to 3. Okay, so I hope clear about the array, everyone. Hello.
Yes, Nitish.
Okay,
Yes.
fine. Yes, Polo. Someone is saying something. Hello.
I have just one question. In real-time project, did you get a chance to use this
Yes,
three
yes.
kind
So
of
no,
array?
not three-dimensional array, but yeah, definitely you will have to work with two-dimensional array. Mostly you will use it when you are doing the automation of the APIs. Mostly you'll need to handle, or if you are doing the automation with the data-driven frameworks, right? It will be you need to use this, right? You will find this is much preferable way instead of just passing the data. Okay, so yeah, you will be able, you'll have a use.
Okay, okay.
Okay, fine. Okay, anybody else? I take that as a no. Next is about class. Class and object. I believe everyone knows what is class. पता ही होगा इतना तो, चलो बता दो. और what is an object? दो में से कोई भी एक बता दो. No?
Object is a specific entity. For example, let's say pencil, equal, it's an object.
Sorry?
Object is a specific entity.
Okay. Fine.
And class is a collection of object, I guess.
Class is a collection of objects. Okay, you can say that. Anybody else? किसी और को ट्राई करना है? Okay, let's say that I think just name bola. Sorry, I don't know the name who gave the answer. Correct. Object is any entity that has state and behavior. Explanation of this. Object has any entity that has state and behavior. It means that I will say that let's take an example. This is the class, right? Automation training. Let's say this is this class is going on, right? Automation training class is going on. So we all are like the trainer and the trainees. All are the objects of this class. Correct? We all are entities of this class. If we are not present, then this would not happen. Hello?
Correct.
Am I making sense? अगर नहीं है तो बोल देना. हाँ. Okay, so
it means class without object and object without class can't work. That you're trying to say.
Yeah, kind of, yes, right. So if there is an object, then definitely there is a class. If there is an object, then definitely there is a class. Let's consider human as an object as well. Human itself is an object. It means that whenever there are so many humans, it will form a class. Even a single object can also form a class. Like a human can have many states, like sleep, awake. Human does have mood changes, mood swings, right? And all the humans do have the different behaviors. Happy, not the happy, I will say walking, running, sleeping, right? Having lunch or having food. These are the behaviors. So an object is any entity which has a state and the behavior. Okay. And
Okay.
And I think only Udit is getting it. And everyone,
Yes, I'm getting it.
yes, girls, please say yes or no if you are not getting it.
Yeah, we are getting.
So, right? Who else left? I think Divya and Ashwini.
I'm getting.
Getting okay. Who hasn't said yes? Hello. Hello. Ashwini has left. Ria.
Yeah, I already said yes.
Yes. Okay. Fine. Okay. So where were we? We were at objects. Objects as the state and class. Sorry, object as the state and behavior. Now, when I said that whenever each objects are each object forms a class. So class is a blueprint for the object. Before we create an object, first we need to define the class. Like as I have said, कि there is a human. तो पहले एक human तो होना चाहिए. अगर आप human का object बनाना है, right? Then we should have a human present. A human class should present into that one, in which it will have all the definition like all the definitions or the fields, like fields represent the states, मतलब कि sleep, being an idol, or many more. And it should have the functionalities as well. Like functionalities mean behaviors like sleeping, walking, having food, likewise. So we'll create a class over here, but we will not create the class of human. It will be a complex one. Let's create a class named. Okay. First example, we took about the automation training, correct? So we'll create one class name, let's say online training. Okay. So so mostly what we do have in the online training, let's list it down. What generally what mostly we do have in the online training? Please speak, huh? और थोड़ा दिमाग पे जोर लगाओ. What do we have in online training? What do we do, or what it should what any online training should have? This is the real example, huh? So please be interactive.
It should have number of sessions.
Okay, so let's define that the number of sessions, right? And then
Students like participants.
Number of participants, right? Number of participants. Number of participants, instead I would say number of trainees. Okay, let's participants. What else?
Trainer.
Important. Trainer. Then
Syllabus.
yes, correct. Syllabus. Syllabus is very much important thing.
Assignment.
Yeah, assignments as well. Assignments. Okay, these are the things what generally we have in online training. But what we do, whatever we do, or whatever the whatever the functionality is there, consider that as the behavior, right? So whenever we create a class in Java, mostly we have fields. Fields, it means the variables which we have just declared, and next we have is the methods, right? So methods are for the functionality, what a class should do. That is considered as the method. So what we do in an online training, let's create a method for that. Okay, so I haven't discussed about the methods, I know, but yeah, we are just creating the blueprint for the class online training. Next, after this, we will jump on the methods, about the Java methods. So don't worry about it.
We we are going to make public method or static?
No, we'll discuss about the methods immediately after the here. We'll just create the methods of this class.
Okay.
When I say methods, means what we do in normally online training session. What we are doing right now.
We have one session, knowledge passing session or interactive session. Can say.
We are having interaction. I am doing knowledge sharing, right? So let's see knowledge sharing. All right. What else we do? We don't take attendance, but let's say attendance. Since this is not the official one, like it's not conducted by any academy, right? What else? Query resolution. Right? So this could be the functionality or the behavior of any online training class. Correct?
Yes.
Others?
Yes.
Okay. Only Ria and Archita. So, sorry. So this is about class. This is about the class. I have said about the objects. What is object now? Object is an entity that has state and behavior. That is true. But what else about the why we need an object?
To call this method.
To call this only to call this method?
Not only methods, if we are using particular functions that need to be called with the use of object, right? Basically, object helps to call public methods, right? Otherwise, with the use of class, we can directly call them. But object is something we need when we have public.
Object is something using that you can access any variable, right? Any variable or any method associated with it. So basically, object is a driver of a class.
Right.
Don't go into details about public, private, and protected. We'll talk about this when we discuss about the access modifiers, right? So
Okay.
let's just focus on this class and objects, right? Okay. So object, in simple terms, object is a driver of a class. When we say driver of a class, it means that it does sorry, class behaves or gives the information about what object is asking. When we say, when I say driver of the class, it means that object is leading, or let's say driver in any vehicle or in a car. For example, in the car, there is a driver. If driver accelerates, then car speeds up, right? If driver applies the brake, then car stops, right? So whatever driver tells the car to do, it does. So here the car driver is the object. Okay, so similarly in Java as well, object is a driver using which we can access the members of a particular class. When we say members, it contains fields and the methods. Fields is equal to variable, and method and and functionality, it means methods which we have created, right? So here okay. So object is an instance of a class. When you say instance of a class, it means it is representing the class, right? It is representing the class, or it is driving the class. So how we can create the object of a class?
Class name,
What is the class name over here?
online training,
Online training.
space, object name,
Then we'll give the name. Training object is equal to new,
class
and
name.
that. So here you don't give the class name. Here you call the constructors. But we'll talk about the constructor in detail I believe in the next session. Right. I need to tell you one more thing about this main method as well. Okay, this is how you create the object of a class, right? And using this object, just you can access all the methods or the variables of a particular class. See, you can access the assignments, number of participants, number of session, syllabus, trainer, and what about the knowledge sharing? These are the methods. Knowledge sharing, for query resolution, taking attendance. Likewise, all of this you can access, right? Let's see, knowledge sharing, entering object dot number of participants is equal to how many we have? 5, right? Dot number of session we have planned 20. And is equal to Nirvesh. That's it. Okay. Now you can create multiple object of a single class. Dot number of participants is equal to 9. 9 dot number of session is equal to 15. So what actually happens when an object is created? Can anyone guess by just looking at what we what I have done by creating two objects?
We are able to access our method and variables.
What else we have? What else I have done?
We have also passed the values with the
You
use
have
of
assigned. I have assigned the values using the
assigned the values to variables with the use of
assigned to
object.
right, correct. So each object is having the separate instance of a particular class. So to be values, whatever the values I have initialized of a particular class using that object, it will be linked to that instance only. It will be limited to that instance only. It will, so it's not like on line number 28 I have assigned value 5 to the number of participants. So it is not like that. It will be 5 for the other objects as well. Other object can have the different value as well. So let's say that this online training, this is one class, this is one blueprint. It could be for, it is applied for other training sessions as well, right? So this can be used for the Java training session, or this could be used for the Python training session as well, correct? Hello?
Yeah, that's correct.
Correct, right? So whenever the Java training session is going on, all the details related to Java object will be linked with, all the details related to Java instance will be linked with Java object, and all the details related to Python instance will be linked with Python object. So here, when we say object is an instance of a class, it means that it just gives the proper reference to the correct object, which will have the correct details like 5, 20, and whatever the value assigned here with that object. Hello? Clear?
Yes.
Nirvin, just one question.
Huh?
Can you please run this program? Just want to
Yes,
see the output.
definitely. It will not print anything, FYI. It will have blank output, or knowledge is shared. Yes, we have just clicked this. We have just called this knowledge sharing.
Yeah, because we have that other are the variables, right? We just assign the
Yes,
value.
we have just assigned the value. Now to access it, what we can do? First object value. So entering object dot number of participants.
Okay, now it will print the value, first object value number of participants.
Yes.
Okay. Can you read them?
Yes, just a second, just a second.
Okay, now fine. Now is
5 and 9, right? The respective value will be count. So class is
Yeah.
one, but there are multiple objects, right? So in training session, all the trainees are treated as the different objects, but all belongs to the same class, correct? All of you belongs to the same class like this online training session, right? But all of you have, sorry, you, all of you are able to access the knowledge we are sharing. You all have different doubts, and if anyone has a doubt, everyone gets benefited from it, right? In the query resolution as well. And all of you have the accessibility to the syllabus as well, but you use it as per your convenience. So objects with different objects use the class variable, use the class members as per their convenience in simple terms, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so in simple terms you can just say it that way. Okay, fine. So this is about Java object and accessing the members of a class. So I hope everyone is clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, this is clear about class and objects. Now next thing is about, I said about methods, right? What is method? If you guys want, I can take this in next session. If you guys want, I can go ahead, whatever your call is, since it's 10:28, huh? Hello.
Yes, Nirvish. We can
What's your
complete
call?
methods or at least one or two types.
One or two types. Method is only one type.
But I know that's only one type, but there are different uses of methods, right? Public, private.
So that I have said, it comes under the access modifiers, right? So when
Okay. Okay,
when we
then
learn about the access modifier, at that time you'll easily able to identify that what we are writing it, why we are
okay.
writing it, public, private method, what's the use of that, right?
Okay.
So I am taking that as yes, like about methods in Java. So simply, a method is a collection of a statement that perform some specific task and return the result to the caller. को समझ में आया?
Can you repeat?
A method is a collection of some statements or instructions that perform a specific task and return the result to the caller.
Okay.
प्रोसेस करने में टाइम लगेगा. So why do we create a method? That answer is already in that definition, but let me repeat. A method is just a block of code, few lines that perform specific task. On line number 11, we have given the name knowledge sharing, right? So how do we do knowledge sharing? There are some steps or instruction that needs to be followed, correct? Whenever you perform some steps only, then only that task will be completed. Knowledge sharing, how knowledge sharing is done? Trainer speaks, trainers listen. Trainers ask the question. Trainer resolves their query. Correct? These are the few steps that needs to be performed. Then only knowledge sharing will be completed. Otherwise, it will not be completed. Correct?
Correct.
Right? Only Udit agrees with me. What about others?
Yeah, that's right.
Right. We have 4 participants. One is me, and next is Divya and Riya. Okay, I think yeah, Archita and Ashwini left. Okay, fine. But yeah, so knowledge, sorry, not knowledge. A method is a block of code that performs specific task. In Java, sorry, why method is required?
So basically method help us to avoid repetition of code. If we define set of statement inside the method, and if we want to use same code again in any other class file, right? We can create an object and call that method. So we can avoid few lines by using that method only.
So reusability.
Reusability, yeah.
Reusability, right? And when you create a method, it's easy to understand. It's easy to understand. The reason for that this is that most of the time a method will perform a single task, right? So whenever you create a method, make sure it just performs a single task. If you mix multiple tasks, then it will have an issues, like sometimes you just need to perform a single task, and sometimes you may need to perform multiple tasks. So I'll tell you the example. Let's say that when you do the automation, basically you will perform multiple tasks or to verify the flow, right? So but let's say you have created a single method in which it will perform multiple steps, like you want to verify some flow, like which will have the few steps, like the registration, right? So in the first form, it will say that enter the personal details. In the next form, it when you click on next, it asks for few more details. And in the third slide, it asks for few more details. So here, if you have created a method containing to fill details of all the forms, then in a scenario where you need to just fill the details of only a single form, then it will not be helpful. Correct?
Correct.
So make sure whenever you create a method, it performs a single task. It is the recommendation, right? It is the recommendation by me. Always make sure that your method performs a single task. It does not perform the multiple tasks, because it will have issues in future. And second thing, you need to consider while creating a method, make sure it is not you don't create it just for the sake of creating it. Make sure it is being used in some I make sure it is being used multiple times. That's when I say multiple times, it means that even if you have to just use it for 2 times, then also create it, because you don't want to repeat 10 lines of code or 5 lines of code again and again. Correct? So even if you have to just use it twice only, you create a method. So 2 things to remember while creating a method. First, it should have only a single, it has to perform only single task, and it should be reusable. It's not like you have just created a method and it is being used in only one class, right? Or there are a time that you may find that this method is being used only in one class. So you'll just like say you may not create it, but in future you never know. It might be used, right? So please remember this about while creating the methods. Now in Java, there are 2 types of method. First is user defined method, and second is the standard library methods. So User defined method, it means that we can create our own method based on our requirement. From the knowledge sharing, taking attendance, query resolution, all these are the user defined methods. And standard library methods, there are some default there are some built-in methods in Java that are available to use. Likewise, I can say this println. Here, system is a class. System is a class. As you can see, java.lang.system. This is a class. System class contains several useful class fields and methods. It cannot be instantiated among the facilities. But yeah, system is a class, and we have used the println method. So this is the method provided by Java library. Okay, so these are the standard library. Now, how to declare a method? Java declare. How to declare Java method? Syntax to declare a Java method is like this. Let's okay. First, you need to define the return type. Then you have to give the method name, the parenthesis, and the curly braces. And here it have the method body. Now, return type. First thing I have written is the return type. What it is?
Void, like you in your example, void is the return type. It return nothing.
Right. It returns nothing. But what else? What else? Return type.
String, WebDriver.
String, WebDriver. So let's not discuss about the WebDriver since we haven't we haven't discussed about that one. But yeah, string. What else? So whatever the data type which we have learned in the variable, that can be a return type of a method. So string, integer, character, float, double, all the data types, right? That can be a return type of a method. Even the array can also be a return type. So here return type, it means that what type of value a method will return. What type of value a method will return. For example, if a method has a return type integer, right? Then that method should return something integer. So it will, let's say 5. It should return something. It's not like if you have defined the return type, then the Java compiler or the Java compiler assumes that this method will return something of data type integer. If you have defined float, then float. If you have defined array, then it will assume array. It should return an array.
If we don't return, it will show error, right?
Yeah, it will show an error. See, it is showing an error.
No. If full return statement is not mentioned, right? And if I'm just returning a system.out.println method or something, in that case, it will show an error at method level.
I'm not getting you. Sorry.
Just remove this return. Remove the return. Okay, now on method name, it's showing error, right?
It is showing an error. A method must return the result of type integer. See?
Okay,
This
there
is
are two
return.
suggestions. You need to add a return statement or change return
Change the type to void.
Okay, correct.
Correct. So if your method is not returning anything, then the method return type would be void. Void means this method is not returning any value. So its return type would be void. Okay. Next thing is the method name. Method name is what? It is an identifier that is used to refer to the particular method in a program. So it has to be some meaningful name. Like we have given on line number 17, 21, and 26. Knowledge sharing, taking attendance, query resolution. Right? And the last is the method body. Method body, it means what method would do in this one. Right? So that is the method body. It includes the set of instruction or programming set or programming statements that are used to perform some task. Method body is enclosed between the curly braces. This and this, this and this. Okay, at line number 11 and line number 15. Now, normally this is the general syntax of or the simple syntax of declaring a method. However, the complete syntax for a method is modifier, then static, then return type, and then name of method. And in the parenthesis, we can pass the parameters. Parameter 1. You can say parameter or argument. And then we have method body. Here, first thing, modifier. It defines the access type, whether the method is public, private, protected, or the default. We will discuss about the Java access modifier in few sessions, right? Next thing is the static. So if method is a static, then it can be accessed without creating the object. If method is static, then it can be accessed without creating object. Let me show it. Static. So as soon as I have added static to void knowledge to knowledge sharing, here we got the suggestion that static method knowledge sharing from the type online training should be accessed in a static way. It means that we should use the class name to access this method. Instead of accessing it via the object, we should use the class name to access the static method. Doubt किसी को? Hello?
No.
No.
All right, fine.
Niraj,
What
only
will
one
happen? What will
question.
happen? Sorry?
Only one question out of the box.
Yes.
Methods and functions are same or different?
Yes, same.
Okay.
Okay. So I was saying, what will happen if I call the static method using the object? This is my question to you. Everyone.
Static method don't need any object. We can directly call.
Yeah,
it.
but what will happen? Since it is not throwing me an error.
I had never tried that. No idea.
What will happen if we call the static method using an object? What will happen? Nothing will happen. It will just call that method. What is the purpose of object? To access the member, to access the class members, right? If this is the class object, then it can access the any method or any member of a class. So whether it's a static method or non-static method, obviously it will call that method. It will just raise a warning that no, this is the proper way to access the knowledge, proper way to access this static method is using the class name. Don't involve object into this one. अगर मैं तुम्हें सब कुछ सामने से दे रहा हूं तो फिर तुम क्यों वाया ले रहे हो, ऐसी बात होगी. ओके, हेलो.
Okay, okay. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Right, so
Yes.
it's like simple in simple terms. Okay, so there is no harm in accessing the static method using the objects, but yeah, जो सीधा रास्ता है वही यूज करो, टेढ़ा रास्ता यूज मत करो. Okay, fine. So this is the proper this is the complete syntax of the method. Then return type we have discussed, name of the method and the parameters. So if you think that your method accepts some argument or needs some argument which should be passed when the method is called, then you can add the arguments in this one. This arguments could be of anything, integer. Parameter 1 can be of type integer, parameter 2 can be type of string, parameter 3 can be type of character or float, likewise that, right? It's up to you. Even it can be array as well, right? We'll see about the methods in detail, about like the parameterized methods, right? About that in next session, because I think this will take long, right? If we discuss about more detail, if we discuss about the methods in more detail.
Sure,
Okay.
Nirvesh, no problem. No problem.
Okay, because we do have a lot to cover in the methods, like method overloading, parameterized methods, right? And then go ahead with the constructor. See, I'll tell you that for the OOPS concept, I'll go really slow. But if you think that we are going really slow, then just please ping. Okay. बता देना मुझे in between in the session itself, right? If you think that I am going really slow, please let me know. We'll pace it up. Okay, but I assume that OOPS concepts are really important, so I'm going a bit slow compared to the last session. All right, and I hope you won't mind that as well if it takes few more sessions. Like we have planned it to cover in one session, but it would be okay to you if we take 2 more extra sessions. Correct?
Yes, no problem.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, so okay, so this is about the methods, like not everything about the methods, but yeah, part 1 of the method, right? The basic things about the method, about the Java methods. All right, so in the next session we'll cover about the method overloading, constructors, and then we'll go ahead with the inheritance, the OOPS concept. Okay, fine.
Yep.
All right. For this, we don't have any assignments, but yeah, I'll be creating and we'll share it as soon as it's available. All right, fine. Okay, but yeah, you can take a look of assignment 2.
Okay.
It has like one or two problem statements for the class and objects. Okay, fine. You can take a look into that.
Okay.
All right. Okay then. Thanks. I'll see you on Monday. Have a happy weekend. Bye bye.
Thank
Good
you.
night. Please ping me if you have any doubt related to
Happy
problems.
weekend. Bye.
All right. Bye bye. Thanks everyone. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.